meron akong nirecruit last year. But hindi pa siya nag-decide kung tatakbo siya for vice president or hindi. So, antayin na lang natin yung desisyon niya. Huwag na lang natin siya guluhin. Huwag na natin siya pangalanan kasi baka atakihin siya, sisirain yung pangalan niya. So, pabayaan natin siya mag-desisyon.
Walang masyadong ma-comment ang mga members. And the reason is because the answer did not address the allegations of offenses and grounds, no? Kasi pag sumasagot ka, dapat sagot yun dun sa complaint eh. But indeed, it did not delve on the allegations in the complaint. That is why some members are saying that the answer is not really an answer. Instead, it is a motion to dismiss. While some members wish to manifest on a per-ground basis, just like what the Honorable Rodriguez did, I wish to share to the members that under Section 7, what is being determined is the complaint's sufficiency in ground. In other words, we will be later on voting on the sufficiency in ground of the entire impeachment complaint and not per ground. Nevertheless, the committee welcomes the manifestation on specific ground if that is the desire of the justice members. Any other member who wishes to manifest on the sufficiency in ground of the third impeachment complaint? The Honorable Tino?
Maraming salamat, Madam Chair. Tingin ko maaaring panindigan ng kinatawang ito na sapat at matibay ang mga batayan o ang grounds upang ituloy ang proseso ng impeachment laban kay Vice Presidente Sara Duterte. Particular dito sa third complaint at maging dun sa fourth complaint. Ipinapahiwatig, unang punto, ipinapahiwatig ng kanyang tugong isinumite ng ad cautelam o with caution ang kanyang plano ngayon pa lang na idiskaril na ang proseso at takasan ng pananagutan sa pamamagitan ng pagtakbong muli sa Korte Suprema. So yun po ang ibig sabihin nun. Kaya nananawagan po tayo hindi lang sa Justice Committee kundi sa House na kailangan panindigan natin ang ating poder, no? Our power as a co-equal branch sa proseso ng impeachment. No? Hindi dapat tayo pumayag na muli na namang madiskaril ng isang desisyon ng Korte Suprema ang impeachment. No? Pangalawang punto, kapansin-pansin ang kawalan ng tahasang pagtanggi sa mga mismong paratang laban kay Vice Presidente. So walang tahasang pagtanggi ang Vice Presidente sa mga aligasyon. Hindi niya kailanman sinabing hindi totoo ang mga akusasyong ito o inilatag kung ano ang tunay na nangyari. Nagtatago lamang siya sa likod ng mga pamibiloso po ng mga abogado at teknikalidad tulad ng kawalan umano ng due process at ang kapusan daw ng ebidensya laban sa kanya. Pilit niyang iginigit na walang ultimate facts ang mga reklamo at wala raw siyang dapat sagutin. Ngunit, pinabubulaanan ang pahayag na ito ng mismo sarili niyang mga sagot. No? Nagawa niya, for example, na talakayin ang mga usapin ng command responsibility, no? Ang kung katanggap-tanggap ba o hindi ang ebidensya at ang maging yung timing ng aksyon. Pinatutunayan lamang nito na malinaw ang mga akusasyon at lubos niyang nauunawaan ang bigat ng mga ito. Isang malaking panlilinlang ang pagdadahilan ng Vice Presidente na dapat munang hintayin ang pinal na desisyon ng Commission on Audit o ng mga korte bago umusad ang impeachment. Pilit niyang binabaluktot ang katangian ng prosesong ito. Mas mataas ang pamantayan ng serbisyo publiko kaysa sa simpleng kawalan ng final judgment mula sa korte. Hindi ang pagiging malaya sa hatol na kriminal ang sukatan para sa mas mataas na posisyon, sa mga pinakamataas na posisyon, kundi ang pananatiling karapat-dapat sa tiwala ng taong bayan o public trust. No? Hindi sapat na sabihin na hindi naman ako convicted, therefore hindi ako dapat ma-impeach. No? High public office demands a higher standard. Kaya nga po isang ground yung for impeachment, yung betrayal of public trust. Sinasalamin ng ganitong palusot ang katangian ng mga umaabuso at nagnanakaw sa pondo ng taong bayan ng mga public officials na nagtatago sa likod ng mga batas habang walang awang pinagkakaitan ng batayang serbisyo ang mamamayang Pilipino. Walang batayan ang pag-iyak niya ng kawalan ng due process. Nabigyan siya ng abiso ng komiting ito, binigyan siya ng pagkakataong sumagot at nakapagsumite nga siya ng kanyang panig. Sa kabilang banda, nais po nating irehistro at nagpapahayag tayo rito ng mahigpit na reserbasyon sa pagsama ng mga paratang ng sedition, destabilization at kaugnay both in the third as well as the fourth complaint bilang mga batayan o grounds sa reklamong ito. Madalas na ginagamit ng mga nakaraan at ng kasalukuyang Marcos Jr. administration ang mga paratang na ito upang supilin ang lehitimong pagtutol para patahimikin ang mamamayan at gawing sandata, lalo na laban sa mga progresibo at sa tunay na oposisyon. Hindi natin dapat pahintulutan ang pag-abuso sa mga kasong ito para sa pampulitikang panunupil. Pilit ding binababa ng Vice Presidente ang antas ng pagdinig sa pamamagitan ng paghingi ng mga ebidensyang pangkorte sa yugtong ito. Ginagawa ang pagtimbang sa mga testimonya at ebidensya sa formal na paglilitis sa Senado, hindi sa panimulang pagsusuri ng komiting ito. Hindi sapat na dahilan ang kawalan ng court grade evidence upang patayin ang reklamo sa ngayon. No? Tahasang paglapastangan sa mamamayang Pilipino ang paggamit ng ganitong mga taktika upang iwasan ang pananagutan. Umaalingaw-ngaw ang panawagan ng mamamayang Pilipino para sa hustisya. Kinakailangang harapin ng Vice Presidente ang formal na paglilitis sa Senado. Dapat ipagpatuloy ng walang pag-aatubili ang prosesong ito upang mabunyag ang buong katotohanan at mapanagot ang dapat managot. Maraming salamat po.
Thank you, Honorable Tino. The Honorable Nasal.
Thank you, Madam Chair. You mentioned earlier that just a point of clarification, you mentioned earlier that no additional pleadings will be allowed after
It is
the hearing.
because the complainants who are given the opportunity to answer the answer,
Yes, ma'am.
that is by way of filing a reply, already waived that opportunity. The subsequent pleading is supposed to be an answer to the reply. We call that rejoinder. Because of the waiver of the filing of the reply, there is no reason anymore to anticipate the filing of rejoinder. And it therefore means that the answer filed by the respondent is the last responsive pleading for the purpose of the justice member's determination of sufficiency in ground. The Honorable Nasal.
Yes, ma'am. But after that, ma'am, notwithstanding, pwede pa rin po silang mag-submit ng...
Definitely that will happen during the hearing proper.
Yeah, okay.
For the guidance of the members, the proceeding before the Justice Committee may be summarized into 5 steps. The first step is the determination of sufficiency in form. We are done already with that. Second step is the determination of sufficiency in substance. We are done already with that. Our third step is the filing of responsive pleadings. That includes the answer, the reply, and the rejoinder if there's no waiver of the filing of reply. These pleadings will be used for the purpose of the determination of sufficiency in ground. The next is the fourth step. That is the hearing proper. Notwithstanding the failure of the answer of the respondent to address the specific allegations of offenses and grounds, the respondent can still present their evidence during the hearing proper.
Thank you very much, ma'am.
To complete the steps after the fourth step, when we are done with the presentation of all the evidence and witnesses of both the complainant and the respondent, we proceed to step 5. That is the determination of probable cause, where the justice members will vote by the majority of all the members. This time, this is not a simple majority. This is majority of all the members, which means it includes even those who are not attending the committee hearing. Before I call the Honorable Marcoleta, I wish to acknowledge the Honorable Brian Po, Vice Chairperson, of course, of the Committee on Justice from FPJ Panday Bayanihan Party List. We also acknowledge the Honorable Bernadette S. Barbers from the 2nd District of Surigao del Norte. We acknowledge as well the Honorable Ramon Rodrigo L. Gutierrez, Deputy Majority Leader from One Rider Party List. We acknowledge the Honorable Ana Victoria Veloso Tuason, Deputy Majority Leader. We also acknowledge the Honorable Janice Degamo from the 3rd District of Negros Oriental. We thank and acknowledge the presence of our senior Deputy Speaker, the Honorable Ferdinand L. Hernandez from the 2nd District of South Cotabato. We also acknowledge the presence of the Honorable Julian Jam Baronda, Deputy Majority Leader. We acknowledge as well the Honorable Deputy Speaker, Yaser Alonto Balindong. We also acknowledge Deputy Speaker Janet J. Garin, Deputy Speaker Jefferson F. Conghon, Deputy Minority Leader Honorable Reynolds Michael T. Tan, and Deputy Majority Leader Honorable Hill Cabarangay A. Acosta Jr. To all the justice members and ex-officio members who are here today, thank you for coming. If there are no other, the Honorable Marcoleta is recognized.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I just would like to manifest, since I was Chief of Staff here way back 2004 up to 2024, I've witnessed impeachment proceedings against presidents, one ombudsman, one Chief Justice. Pero wala pa po akong narinig na pag-uusap tungkol sa sufficiency in grounds. Ang naririnig ko lang lagi, sufficiency in form and substance. Ngayon ko lang po yata narinig itong bago na rule na ito, sufficiency in grounds. Could you please clarify me on
For the
this?
satisfaction of the Honorable Marcoleta, please allow the Chair to read Section 7 of the Rules of Impeachment of the House of Representatives adopted by the 20th Congress of the Philippines. Section 7, Submission of Evidence and Memoranda. After receipt of the pleadings, affidavit and counter-affidavits, and relevant documents provided for in Section 6, or the expiration of the time within which they may be filed, the committee shall determine whether the complaint alleges sufficient grounds for impeachment. That is for the satisfaction of the Honorable Marcoleta.
May I know, Madam Chair, when the rules were promulgated?
This
I was not
has
furnished a
been the
copy.
rules of impeachment of the 19th Congress, which the 20th Congress adopted.
So it's not new. Hindi po siya bago.
This has been part of the previous rules, which were used during the past impeachment processes?
Opo, kasi bago lang po sa akin yung sufficiency in grounds. Hindi ko po narinig yan sa mga dating proceedings. Yun lang po. Salamat po.
There are no other manifestations on the third impeachment complaint, then we are calling the endorser of the fourth impeachment complaint to manifest their position on the sufficiency in ground.
Madam Chair,
The Honorable Deputy Speaker Paulo Ortega.
together with my co-endorser, the Honorable Bienvenido Abante, batay naman po sa ating manifestation at waiver po na pinadala, nakikita naman po natin na wala pong direktang mga sagot at puro general allegations, general po na denials lang po yung sagot at kahit anumang kasunod dito o dagdag ay magkakos lang po ng further delay. So I submit, Madam Chair. Thank you.
We've heard the position of the endorser of Cabrera et al. Complaint. The floor is now open for manifestation of the justice members on the sufficiency in ground of the fourth impeachment complaint.
Madam Chair,
The Honorable Ridon.
na-deliberate na po previously yung ilan po sa mga punto on due process and yung pong kawalan po ng ultimate facts, supposedly. Yan po yung posisyon ng answer ad cautelam ng atin pong pangalawang Pangulo. Hindi ko na po yun uulitin dahil clearly no due process violations had been done against the Vice President. This is precisely her opportunity to this answer to undertake all of these due process mechanisms. Pero she did not avail of it and had in fact submitted what we deem as a non-answer. So yun po yung una on due process. Secondly, on ultimate facts, yung pong mga kasama natin kanina, binanggit na ho nila na hindi ho totoo na wala pong pagbanggit ng ultimate facts on confidential funds, on the death threats against the President, the First Lady, and the former House Speaker. Yung po usapin ng SALN, all of the documentation, all of the evidence had been submitted by the two complaints. At ito po yung mga papatunayan in each and every step of the proceeding. So hindi po ito totoo na wala pong ultimate facts. But as a final point, Madam Chair, gusto kong banggitin yung binabanggit nilang double standard ng komite sa papatupad ng atin pong rules on the President's impeachment and on the Vice President's impeachment. Hindi po totoo na meron pong double standard dito. Kasi wala akong pwedeng paghambing on how the committee had undertaken both impeachment proceedings. Kasi sa una't una, in the President's impeachment, ano ho ba yung laman nung po mga submissions doon po sa impeachment complaint ng particular po ng mga binasurang complaints? Una, karamihan po doon mga news articles lang po yung binabanggit po nila. Pangalawa, meron po doon binabanggit na ebidensya, unauthenticated video document. Ibig sabihin, walang affidavit yung po submission po ng ebidensya po na yun. But as compared to the Vice President's impeachment complaints, ano yung pinag-uusapan natin ebidensya at dokumentasyon sa bagay po na ito? Una, COA reports relating to the misuse of confidential funds, notice of disallowance, ordering the Office of the Vice President to return ito pong at least 70 million in a supposed misuse of confidential funds. Second, yung pong video documentation of the press conference of the Vice President, kung saan siya po ay nagbanta laban sa Pangulo, First Lady, at dating House Speaker. Video documentation kung saan sinasabi niya na gusto niyang pugutan ng ulo ang Pangulo ng Pilipinas at iba pa hong mga katulad ng mga video documentation. Pangatlo, pagbabanggit po ng Statement of Assets, Liabilities, Net Worth ng atin pong pangalawang Pangulo, kung saan pinag-uusapan po yung paglobo ng kanyang yaman from 7 million in 2007 to 88 million in 2024. Ito po yung mga documentation, ebidensya that exists as a impeachment complaint against the Vice President. And lastly, yung Pumadriaga Affidavit, which is something that has been signed and will be tested on credibility as soon as we get to hearing proper. So, Madam Chair, wala hong batayan. Yung binabanggit po ng answer ad cautelam ng pangalawang Pangulo that the House Committee on Justice had implemented two standards on the President's impeachment and on the Vice President's impeachment. Malinaw po yung standard dito. The standard is based on our rules, on our constitutional mandate, and on the principle of due process and fairness. No? So, tingin ko, the committee should proceed with the determination of sufficiency in grounds, and you have to be able to vote on it today, Madam Chair, and move forward. Maraming salamat po.
Thank you. Any other member who wish to manifest on the fourth impeachment complaint? The Honorable Marcoleta.
Madam Chair, also, again, a manifestation for clarification with the indulgence of the Chair. Akin pong hinihiling ang clarification ng committee kaugnay ng aplikasyon ng Section 7 ng ating rules on impeachment, particular kung kailan eksaktong nagta-transition ng komite mula sa determination of sufficiency in grounds patungo sa conduct of hearings at reception of evidence. Sa malinaw na basa ng Section 7, matapos ang submission ng pleadings, affidavits at relevant documents sa ilalim ng Section 6 o matapos ang lapse ng period, ang tungkulin ng komite ay tukuyin muna kung may sufficient grounds for impeachment. Kung wala, dapat i-dismiss. Kung meron, saka pa lamang magko-conduct ng hearing kung saan papasok ang examination, cross-examination at compulsory processes. Kaya nais ko lamang malinawan, Madam Chair, kung ang mga tinatalakay at tinatanggap na materyales at references sa puntong ito ay para na ba sa determination of sufficiency in grounds o tayo ba ay de facto na nasa hearing stage na dapat ay nangyayari lamang pagkatapos ng ganong determinasyon. Ang paglilinaw na ito ay mahalaga upang matiyak na ang ating proseso ay nananatiling tapat sa ating sariling rules at upang maiwasan ang anumang persepsyon na ang komite ay lumalampas o naghahalo ng mga yugto ng proceedings na malino na pinaghiwalay ng ating rules on impeachment. Maraming salamat po, Madam Chair.
To reiterate, Honorable Marcoleta, the Chair has been stating that we are on the third step, that is the determination of sufficiency in ground. So all these proceedings are towards determining whether or not sufficient ground exists to be able to proceed to this impeachment proceeding. It is only after the declaration of whether or not there is sufficient ground that we may be able to proceed to hearing proper. During the hearing proper, both the complainant and the respondent will be given opportunity to present their witnesses and their evidence.
Madam, di po dapat we should have determined the sufficiency in ground before we voted for sufficiency in form and substance. Kasi we already voted for that.
I wish to direct the Honorable Marcoleta to the rules of impeachment, Secretariat. Perhaps we need to provide him a copy of the rules. Again, the proceeding before the Justice Committee, Honorable Marcoleta, is summarized into 5. And you can confirm this from the rules of impeachment adopted by the 20th Congress. 1 is form, 2 is substance, 3 is ground, 4th is hearing proper, and 5th is the determination of probable cause. After that, we go to the plenary. Kindly look into the copy of the rules of impeachment, because everything that I am saying is strictly consistent with the provision of the rules.
I will go check, Madam Chair. Thank you.
Madam Chair, I encourage all members, even non-members, no, na sana po basahin po natin yung rules para hindi po tayo nalilito at nang sa ganun po ay maiwasan po natin yung mga tanong na maliwanag naman po sa ating rules, na nakasaad sa rules. Maraming salamat po, Madam Chair.
Madam Chair. Madam Chair.
The Honorable Ko.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Similarly, gaya po ng ating manifestation sa third impeachment complaint, no, paano ba nai-impluwensyahan ng answer or ng sagot ni VP Sara Duterte itong fourth impeachment complaint? Hindi natin masabi dahil wala nga pong sagot na naibigay, no. Pero for the purposes din of the public, no, nakalagay po nga sa rules na merong pong requirement that the committee finds sufficiency in grounds, no. Ano po ba tong mga grounds na maaari nating ilatag at desisyonan, no, para mag-move forward to the next step of the impeachment proceedings sa House Committee on Justice. No? Sa Constitution po, may 6 na grounds, no, na nakalagay. Nandiyan po yung tinatawag nating, may 6 na grounds. No? It is this representation forwarding na sa 6 na nakalagay sa Constitution, VP Sara Duterte is guilty of 5. Mabigat po yun. No? Out of the 6, may 5 batayan to say that guilty po siya. No? Gusto ko lang pong pasadahan, no, bilang appreciation of the body. Una, gaya po ng isinaad natin sa reklamong inendorso ng Makabayan, itinaksil ni VP Sara ang tiwala ng publiko. She betrayed public trust sa pag-abuso niya ng pondo sa mamamayan, sa pangongontrata niya na pumatay, at sa pagsisinungaling niya sa hindi tamang pagdeklara ng kanyang ari-arian sa Statement of Assets and Liabilities o SALN. Para lang pong himayin pa konti, ang pera ng taong bayan na dapat natatamasang benepisyo ng mamamayan ay hindi ginamit ng tama o naiulat man ng maayos ang paggamit nito. May opportunity po sana si VP Sara Duterte to rebut that, but unfortunately in the answer, we don't see it. Hindi lang naman po ito usapin, no, sa kung paano niya na-handle yung confidential and intelligence funds ng Office of the Vice President. Damay din ang pondo ng Department of Education na supposedly nagagamit para sa benepisyo ng kabataan, pero unfortunately ito po ay nagamit para sa katiwalian. Lahat po tayong nagbabayad ng buwis. Paano natin mapagkakatiwalaan na nagagamit ng maayos ang kaban ng bayan kung ang Vice-Presidente ng Pilipinas ay kung saan-saan ginagamit ang perang hiningi niya? Nilabag niya ang tiwala natin na dapat maayos na paggasta ng pera ng bayan. Meron din po na articulation of grounds saying na yung kanyang death threats, no joke, no joke, ito po ay bahagi ng pwedeng sufficient ground for the continuation of the impeachment proceedings. In this representation's opinion, ang kanyang ding pangongontrata ng pagpatay ng sino man, pangulo man iyan o ordinaryong mamamayan, ay paglabag din sa tiwala ng publiko. Tatak Duterte talaga, like father, like daughter. Pagpapatuloy ng culture of impunity, kung saan tahasang maaari na lang pwedeng sabihin at aaktuhan, no, yung gantong klaseng threat to life, no, to Filipino citizens. Ikalawa, ano pa po yung mga ibang mga grounds as provided in the Constitution? Culpable violation of the Constitution. Pagtahasang may paglabag sa Konstitusyon, maaari pong ma-impeach ang isang opisyales. At para sa atin, no, may responsibilidad si VP Sara Duterte, mga public officials, na magsabi ng totoo sa kanyang SALN, no, sa kanyang mga iba't ibang summons sa pagdepensa ng spending, but nonetheless, VP Sara Duterte did not do so. Ikatlo, bribery. Siya po ay nanuhol ng kapwa pampublikong opisyal in facilitating covert delivery or distribution of cash to influence official functions. Ikaapat, meron din pong katiwalian at korupsyon, graft or corruption. She caused undue injury to the government by giving unwarranted benefits through irregular disbursements. At meron din pong, lastly, no, other high crimes na ayon sa batas ay mga gawain na krimeng kayang maparusahan sa batas na kung kinasuhan siya ay magiging isang quote-unquote official unworthy to remain in office. Dapat grabe ang bigat ng naging kasalanan na tinamaan mismo ang maayos na paggana ng gobyerno. At pasok po ang kabuuan ng ginawa ni VP Sara Duterte under this definition. No? Samantala, ang representasyon na ito ay ay critical din, no, sa mga argumento na quote-unquote destabilization or sedition. May arguments na nag-articulate na ang kanyang mga naging salita or ang pagpunta sa peace rally even ay nagko-constitute nito. No, sa bahagi po ng representasyon na ito, nakita natin na ginagamit din to against ordinary citizens, against ordinary Filipinos. And we'd like to advise everyone na mag-caution sa paggamit nito, lalo na ito ay paraan para mag-express din ng grievances ang mga mamamayan. Nonetheless po, sa paglatag po natin, Madam Chair, ng mga grounds under the Constitution, anong acts na pasok doon po sa kanyang grounds, this representation submits that there are sufficient grounds for VP Sara Duterte's impeachment proceedings to continue. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Madam Chairman,
Thank you, Honorable Ko.
may I be recognized?
The Honorable Nonoy Defensor.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Enough has been said this morning, and it bears stressing that part of the due process is to conduct a hearing so that the respondent could also present her evidence formally. And it is also worth stressing that part of due process is expediting an impeachment proceeding. Dapat po mabilis ang isang impeachment process kasi kung walang kasalanan si Vice President Sara Duterte, dapat ma-dismiss na ito at hindi na siya maaabala at makabalik na tayo sa ating trabaho. At dapat mapabilis din dahil kung may kasalanan ang isang respondent, ay dapat mapatrial na ito para madesisyonan ng Senado kung manatili man siya o matanggal sa pwesto. Therefore, Madam Chairman, may I encourage the members of this committee that we proceed with the next step of the chairman in our agenda so we can fruitfully end this day, and whether or not we proceed with the conduct of a hearing, we will determine it as soon as possible. Thank you.
Honorable Defensor, would you like to move that we proceed to voting?
Madam Chair, I move that we decide to declare the third impeachment complaint as having sufficient grounds to conduct a hearing.
Is there any second?
Second.
Second, Madam
Is there any objection?
Madam Chair.
Hearing none.
Madam Chair,
Are you objecting, Honorable Rodriguez?
I am bringing out Section 7. Section 7 precisely provides for determination of sufficiency of grounds, not complaint. While sufficiency in complaint in substance and form, we have to go one by one. I will read now Section 7 because we have to vote on the grounds. And what are these grounds? 6 in the third complaint, 5 in the fourth complaint. Section 7. Submission of evidence and memoranda after receipt of the pleadings, affidavits, and counter-affidavits and relevant documents provided for in Section 6 or the expiration of the time within which they may be filed, the committee shall determine whether the complaint alleges sufficient grounds for impeachment. So we are going to go into grounds because that will be what will be heard in the committee. So I think we should go one by one, so that we will be able to comply sufficient grounds. So I move...
Honorable
the check.
Rodriguez, I encourage that we revisit the wordings of Section 7 because contrary to the opinion of the Honorable Rodriguez, what is being declared as sufficient or insufficient in ground is the complaint and not the grounds alleged in per complaint. Going back to this provision, it says the committee shall determine whether the complaint, it is the complaint, which is the subject matter of the declaration of the sufficiency in ground, whether the complaint alleges sufficient grounds for impeachment. Earlier, the chair manifested that the committee is welcoming the manifestation per ground. But indeed, if we go back to the provision of the rules, the declaration has to be on the entire impeachment complaint.
Madam Chairman,
The Honorable Defensor,
may I-
there is a pending motion.
may I reiterate or amend my motion. I move to declare that the third impeachment complaint has sufficient ground or grounds to conduct a hearing by this committee.
There is an amended motion to declare the third impeachment complaint, the Zabalia et al. Impeachment complaint, sufficient in grounds. Do I hear a second?
Second, Madam Chair.
Is there any objection? Hearing none, the motion is approved. The chair declares the third impeachment complaint sufficient in ground.
Madam Chair,
The Honorable Deputy Speaker Janet Garin.
I move to declare and approve the sufficiency of grounds for impeachment of the fourth impeachment complaint, the Cabrera complaint.
There is a motion to declare and approve the sufficiency in ground of the fourth impeachment complaint, that is Cabrera impeachment complaint. Do I hear a second? The same has been seconded. Is there any objection?
Madam Chair, a manifestation.
Is this an objection?
No, it's not. But we'd
Can
like
we
to
first
manifest.
rule on the motion?
We just first manifest that when it's true, it says complaint whether it has sufficient grounds. The adjective sufficient should be the one controlling, that the grounds should be the ones discussed. But I would just like to state that in this fourth impeachment complaint, I find two to be sufficient, the three are not. So that is my manifestation, but I have no objection.
The manifestation of the Honorable Rodriguez is noted by the committee. Hearing no objection, the chair approves the motion. The fourth impeachment complaint is declared sufficient in grounds. At this point, honorable members of the Justice Committee, we declare the conclusion of step 3. We declare the conclusion of the determination of sufficiency in grounds. Now, we proceed to step 4. That is the hearing proper. And in line with that, I wish to add that the evidence and witnesses which will be presented by both parties during the hearing proper will be part of our consideration in the determination of probable cause in our step 5. Having said so, the chair announces the predetermined schedule of our hearing proper. This includes March 25, 2026, April 14, April 22, and April 29, 2026. These are the initial dates for our hearing proper. Likewise, the chair places on record that the committee is in receipt of the approved resolution authorizing, the title of which, authorizing the House Committee on Justice to implement Section 8 of the Rules of Procedure in impeachment proceedings relating to the protection of complainants and witnesses, and further authorizing the committee to continue the conduct of impeachment proceedings and the exercise of ancillary powers during the recess of the House of Representatives from March 21, 2026 to May 3, 2026. This is the authority that was given by the plenary, the House of Representatives, to the Justice Committee to be able to conduct hearing during our break. That explains the predetermined schedule for our hearing proper. In addition, the chair places on record the committee's receipt on March 5, 2026 of the letter of the Honorable Chel Jokno. This is a request for issuance of subpoena duces tecum of pertinent documents. We likewise place on record the receipt on March 17, 2026 of a petition for transfer of custody of witness Ramil Madriaga. Likewise, this is from the Honorable Jose Manuel Tadeo Chel Jokno. The request for issuance of subpoena and the petition for transfer of custody will be acted upon by the committee on the initial stage of our hearing proper on March 25, 2026. Nonetheless, we are directing the committee secretariat to provide copy of the request and the petition to all the justice members. We likewise direct the requesting party, Honorable Chel Jokno, to furnish the respondent copy of the request for issuance of subpoena and copy of petition for transfer of custody. Would you like to manifest?
Yes,
Honorable
Madam Chair,
Jokno?
we will comply with the instructions of the Honorable Chair. At the same time, just for clarification, may I just state that the petition that I filed is for adequate protection under Section 8 of the Rules of Impeachment, which, depending on the discretion of the committee, may perhaps include a transfer of custody.
The chair stands corrected. Kindly reflect the correction that was manifested by the Honorable Jokno. If there are no other matters which the member wish to raise, the chair is ready to hear the necessary motion.
Madam Chair, move to adjourn.
There's a motion to adjourn. The same has been seconded. There is no objection. Kindly amend the motion. Motion to suspend.
Motion to suspend, Madam Chair.
There is an amended motion to suspend. Any second? The same has been seconded. Is there any objection? Hearing none, our hearing is suspended until March 25, 2026 at 10 o'clock in the morning. Hearing is suspended.